we went through all of the election integrity documents that the White House just released so that you don't have to. What's in them? What's really in there, and what exactly has been proven? Well, we're going to get into those documents today. There are 55, 56 or so files that we have. We're not going to go through all of them just for the sake of time. We're also going to get some shenanigans with Steve, some apologetics with Charlie. Do all dogs go to heaven? That will be answered today. And we'll do a song review. And of course, we're in the last part of the Screw Tape Letter. So join us here on Further Every Day. Jonathan Fiala for Further Every Day, sitting in the chair of philosophy. To my right, I've got Charlie. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm in a new chair today.
You're in a new chair because Miss Nikki is just not with us today.
She has found the bathroom to be one of her greatest friends.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that was what was going on.
No, she had a little bit. She's watching today. So, hi, darling.
We miss you.
We love you.
We miss you.
Yeah, she had a little bout this last week that was rather painful. So she's trying to take care of some things, and she should be back next week. We're looking forward to that. It's all about age. Wouldn't you say, Steve? It's all about,
I would agree.
It's all about age.
I thought it was just a number.
Age. Yeah. Trust me.
Well,
Steve, how's it going?
It's going better.
He's back.
Glad you're back.
It's better.
We're glad to have you here. We missed you. Mr. Producer,
I'm doing good.
glad to have you here. And we're doing fine.
He has no further comment.
Confused. He has no further comment.
He's trying to figure out the grammar thing.
He's parsing out. Yeah, okay. So, all right, let's kind of get into it, because on this program, some people have said, hey, you guys get too political for an apologetics channel. Well, maybe, but the thing is, politics is merely the arrangement of people in a culture on how they are going to be governed. And they are working through the interlocularity of people, if that's even a word, and designing a system on how we will be ruled. It used to be might versus right, and then we had a contract with the Magna Carta, and then we had a constitution with America, and these are some of those little moments in history. And right now we are a constitutional republic. If we could keep it, to borrow from Ben Franklin, part of keeping it allows the gospel to be shared by the most gospel-friendly nation in the world. Thank you. But it also allows us the freedom to be able to assemble ourselves and act in a way that is hopefully righteous. It also keeps the government from being able to fund abortion on demand, endless wars, etc. So I do think it is important, it is relevant to the Christian to understand what is happening. On the note of election integrity, we've been talking about election integrity for years. And Charlie, you and I have both been on the field for this.
Yep.
And we have seen strange things.
Yep.
Things that allegedly, potentially fraudulent IDs passed out here in Houston, where we are from. We have seen all sorts of strange shenanigans, obstruction of people being able to vote, etc. This is something that I think the Christian should be involved in, because it is about doing what is right. Now, if you did not watch Trump's speech, I would recommend. That is a good primer for this. However, I would like to get into what the White House released at whitehouse.gov/election integrity. And I want to get into the files as they've been released, mostly redacted. We'll get to that. But what they do say and what they don't say. I was very disappointed with what ultimately was released. But Dan Bongino, former FBI, said it this way. He said, you guys got to understand, the president is letting the concrete dry before we try to drive over it. I think that is wise. And Trump has learned a lot since 2015.
I will say that it's wise if our end goal is to prosecute.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
We have to get there.
If that. So let me just say this before you jump into this full. It's an issue of, if we do not start treating wrong as wrong and holding people accountable for those things.
If justice is slow.
If justice is slow, we are hosed.
Absolutely.
We are hosed.
Agree. So how safe is your vote? That is a great question. I'm glad you asked. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What the government just came forward, what it admitted, what it has audited in its own documents. Let's go ahead. 4 sets of documents you can download from the files, 58 files. There you go. That's the number. Intelligence assessments, agency reports, FBI case files, and internal correspondence. We went through all of them, so hopefully you can benefit from that time. Next slide. What was released and what we've checked. We're going to get into it. That's part number 1. Election influence. Before we go any further, this is how they are defining it in the reports. Covert and overt activity by foreign governments intended to affect a U.S. election, including activity targeting candidates, parties, voters, or their preferences. The next definition we want to look at is election interference, a subset of influence targeted at the technical aspects of the election, voter registration, the casting and counting of ballots, and the reporting of results. Spoiler real quick, if you are not sure what's going to be coming out of this, it is going to be this set of documents mostly proves the former, not necessarily the statute of the latter. Election influence happens with us. We influence Israel's elections. Israel influences ours. Russia, China, they all do. The question is, can you prove interference? I believe the proof is very strong there. That's a personal belief, but here's the thing. We have to know where we're getting the information. It has to be verifiable. It has to be credible, because as we saw in the 2020 election set, if they can dismiss on a technicality, the Supreme Court will. And they did over and over and over again. Even though there was some great evidence brought forward, it was all dismissed, mostly for lack of standing, technicality, or they wouldn't even address the substance. I believe it was in Wisconsin. One of the Supreme Court justices on their state Supreme Court said this smacks of racism. Didn't actually write about the content. They circumvented it. So we need to have the strongest case possible, and that is really critical going forward, Mr. Producer. So this is definitely an issue of influence so far. Now, some definitions. CISA. You're going to see CISA over and over again in these documents. That is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency inside the Department of Homeland Security. Defends U.S. critical infrastructure, including election systems. The next definition is SLTT. You will see this in the reports. What does that mean? State, local, tribal, and territorial. The government offices that actually run elections, roughly 8,000 local jurisdictions. Yes, Steve.
On the tribal part, are they referring to like
Reservations.
Okay.
Keep on going. So I want to pull up this next slide, and this is, it says here, multiple cases, CISA assessors gained full network control of the terminals within hours of a red team attack, demonstrating that many SLTT partners remain soft targets incapable of stopping even moderately skilled adversaries. Just for clarity's sake, this is not thank you, Mr. Producer, this is not a small attack. This is an attack that is, not a large attack, this is a small attack. This is within a few hours, a couple of hackers who are underneath CISA are able to gain full dominance and control of election results. They're able to get names, and potentially, in some cases, through an SQL attack, they're actually able to get access to the database of votes. This is within hours. So we've known this for years. Finally, we have a CISA report on that. So this is a small win. This is not the one we want, but it is a win that we at least need this much. So I hope and pray that the president and his team are actually going to go the whole distance. But I don't know if you listened to Dan Bongino this week.
I have not. Nikki has.
I tuned in just because of this, because I want to know what Bongino says. He says, look, you guys got to understand, this is a snake pit. And there are a lot of people who are in here. They don't say, hey, we're the bad guys. We're the ones who did the thing. You have a lot of people who are institutionally in place, and they've been there for years and years. So they're not going to just raise their hands and say, oh, I burned the documents, I stole the documents. But there were some interesting things that did happen, including burn bags that were supposed to be burned.
And
weren't. And so there's a number of sets. So that could potentially be someone growing a conscience, or someone's having one and then waiting and then hoping that it would be picked up later, or it's gross incompetence.
I'm almost willing to say it was the middle.
Maybe.
And, you know, one of the things I try to remember, not to take too long on this, but one of the things I try to remember, there are bad people in politics.
Yep.
There are good people in politics.
Yeah, and for those of you who hate everything and everyone in the CIA, the FBI, there are still patriots.
Amen.
There are.
There are, and thank God for them. I hope you guys don't leave if any of you are listening to the sound of my voice. To continue on, Mr. Producer. So this happened in mere hours. This is a fast thing, and it's too fast. It's very, very easy and clear. So the next slide. The over-reliance on the presumed air gap assumptions that do not actually reflect connectivity, vendor support tunnels, and unmonitored remote management tools or indirect network paths. In other words, everything we've been told is incorrect. ImageCast and X-ballot marking devices printed voters' completed ballots on paper, but these were encoded in a barcode that voters had no way to verify. A researcher showed that hackers could change the votes encoded into the barcode. Okay, through proper manipulation, this is possible. Hackers have attempted to breach voter registration systems in all 50 states with confirmed successes in at least 20 states. Thank you for a moment, Mr. Producer. What this proves is influence. We know influence, and that is anyone who has been awake for 20 minutes in the world and in politics understands that election influence happens. What this report does is it sets up a strong precedent for influence, but it stops short of interference. It does give some anecdotal evidence for interference in the latter part, and I believe that there are some good, strong cases for interference, and we'll get to them. But I want to be careful what we say. It has and has not been documented and proven. We want to make sure that we are good stewards of the truth and that people can come to us and they can trust us with that truth. Next cut, Mr. Producer. So, however, experts have routinely minimized the significance of successful voter registration breaches and the exposure of sensitive personal data used for voter verification. Over and over again, this has happened. In New Hampshire, 2023, a vendor selected to replace the state's aging voter registration database had offshored part of the project. The software had been configured to connect to servers in Russia, and a programmer had hard-coded the Ukrainian national anthem into the database. I just want you to take a moment and take appreciation for that. That is like a dog marking its territory.
Hello?
Why do we have networked voting machines and we're off-sourcing part of the tabulation to Russia and the Ukraine? Are you freaking kidding me? And yet all of this was available.
You should go to jail for that alone.
Anyone who authorized that should be treason.
I would
really
agree.
should. It really should. Whether it's through, and we need to construct laws if there aren't already. Most of them are already there, and we need to enforce the ones that are already there, so that
And
people
I would say,
actually get punished.
I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You do something stupid like that, you should go to prison.
This is unbelievably self-interested, and a lot of it comes from graft. And I can't back that, but I suspect it. I strongly suspect. I gotta be careful on that statement. I suspect a lot of it comes through personal interest, and again, having been in D.C. in 2020 and having watched the way things move, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
Money. It's all about the money, and that's where it goes. Continuing on, Mr. Producer, because we have a lot to get through if we want to get through these today. So, next step. So the administration's argument, I want to lay this out cohesively. First off, the central claim. In aviation, banking, and nuclear command operators must be able to demonstrate integrity of the system. Elections ask citizens to trust in a process that cannot be independently verified. It has to be rock tight. What we were told was segmentation and chain of custody data were the guarantees offered before the election. We were told we had air gaps. We were told that we had a foolproof system over and over again. Segmentation, real quick, definition of that. Computers that could count votes, they did so on their own isolated network, walled off from ordinary office computers and email and other servers. Now, real quick, on X, ImageCast X, the tabulator reads the barcode, and it's a barcode that the voter can't read. Here in Houston, we actually have something called the Hart InterCivic Verity Duo. Duo inferring that there is a ballot that's printed that the person can see, and that ballot gets saved. Okay, this is a very good system. If you don't have this already in your area, see if you can push to have it done. All of this leads to the serious question, was Venezuela involved? Let's talk about Venezuela for just a moment.
Whoa.
Is Venezuela involved? Well, let's go ahead and the summary of select intelligence voting reporting from 2004 to 2020 on Venezuela's electronic voting manipulation capabilities. Let's go to this report really quick. Now, I want to kind of say that this is important. This was, thank you, Mr. Producer, for just a second. This was actually directly related to the Kill Chain documentary. Do you remember when that came out in 2020?
I do not.
So it was a whole documentary by the left on how Trump was going to potentially steal the election and how it was available. Their systems were manipulated, and we want to be really careful. This was not hypothetical. This is proven, and this is where it gets really gnarly, because we know that it happened in Venezuela. And so there's a lot of confusion about how much interference Venezuela did or didn't have. The proof is a hard thing to get a hold of. And I know some people who are involved with the election integrity efforts to do this. I think that there might be some significant and substantive evidence. The problem is most people's eyes glaze over when you start talking about bouncing off of 30 different servers. It's hard for a judge to understand what is going on.
Yep.
And if you have expert versus expert, and one of them is opposition,
And it's just same noise.
and it's noise, and it's hard to wrap your brain around.
By the way, that right there is exactly the kind of things that Democrats engage in against conservatives.
Correct. And so that's the serious concern here. And now, again, the system that was used was owned by Sequoia, okay? And that company was later purchased by other companies that I'm not going to name so I don't get in trouble here for legal reasons. But
I was going to say it. I'm glad I didn't.
yeah, I want to be cautious because they will sue you even if you didn't say anything wrong. So some of these companies are out there, and it was the number one. Fox had a whole thing on it, and guys, it's hairy. They are out to get you. Next cut, Mr. Producer. I want to go to this. What we found in the audit, they were able to replicate digital hash files sent to the central vote counting database, overwrite hash files of voting machines that favored the opposition, make altered votes appear to originate from legitimate voting machines. That's a huge issue, evading detection through standard audit procedures. They actually had an AI that could actually manipulate that system. Next one, Mr. Producer, the 2006 National Security Threat Assessment evaluated Smartmatic's acquisition of Sequoia voting systems as a, quote, moderate overall threat to national security interests, unquote, a potential instrument for Venezuelan officials seeking to manipulate the electoral process in the United States. Smartmatic and Sequoia held contracts in approximately 400 U.S. counties. That's a serious issue. Next cut. Neither Smartmatic nor the Venezuelan government had the capability to manipulate the outcome of an election outside of Venezuela, is what the report says. CIA's baseline assessment maintained that large-scale electronic fraud did not occur in 2012. The 2013 report was explicitly an alternative analysis exercise rather than a definitive finding. In March 2018, Smartmatic ceased operations in Venezuela after publicly accusing the Maduro regime of inflating turnout by over 1 million votes. Now,
And I was going to get to the point. Maduro, where did he come from?
yeah, Venezuela. And
So you have to wonder why Trump really went after him.
all of this, and look, I hope the president is cooking.
Yep.
And I'm willing to let him cook.
Yep.
Because I'm hoping we get there. What this report does not say is Venezuela. It does not say, I'm going to say it one more time. The report does not say that Venezuela interrupted or interfered with our elections. It does say that within the Venezuelan system, they were able to inject large amounts of votes and make them appear as though they came from vote counters.
So they showed that it was possible.
So it showed that it was possible in Venezuela. It may or may not be possible from Venezuela to the United States, but if the system has not been changed, I'm being very careful, if the system has not been changed in any meaningful way, is it still possible that it is doable here in the United States from a United States system? Is it possible that it is doable from a Venezuelan networked connection? Don't know. Above my pay grade. But that question should terrify Republican and Democrat alike. It should be a serious question. Yet what do we see people doing? They're pushing back on the SAVE Act. One of the things the SAVE Act is primarily articulated to do is fix these holes, primarily by making sure you can prove your citizenship, by reinforcing the FAVA outlines, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But it is a serious issue that everyone should be concerned with.
You would think that it'd be an issue that the government overall would be concerned about, period.
You would think. One would think.
Certainly half of them. I would hope all of them. But the other thing, too, that is really interesting here is there's actually two solutions to this whole thing. And this is what bothers me, that the SAVE Act has not been passed. And John Thune needs to be booted out. Period. That's when you have 86% of your elected representatives in favor of the SAVE Act. What are we doing? What in the world are we doing? Two solutions to this. Number one, the ID issue. That's simple. Number two, you alluded to it just a few moments ago, and that is handle it just like you do in Texas. You can vote electronically. Have at it. But your vote is printed out, and you are asked to review your ballot before you go over to the machine to scan it. Because once you put it in there, that's it.
Yeah.
You are done with your voting.
Correct.
So those ballots are kept.
And you actually have a stack at the end that can be run in an audit.
Absolutely.
And that is necessary.
So when they're talking about recounting, okay, what are we recounting?
The physical
Are you
ballots.
recounting an electronic cast, or are you recounting a paper cast? And if it's me, go ahead and get the bean counters out. You can pull the paper and get your sticky stuff for your fingers. We're going through them one by one.
And you need to be able to do that.
You know what they're recounting? The mail-in ballots.
Well, they're fishing, potentially, allegedly, maybe fishing in. But the problem is we don't have an answer to that question because Republicans get kicked out all too often. That happened here in Harris County. Again, allegedly, even though I was there for it. So with that said, let's go ahead and keep on, Mr. Producer. 100% agree. Here's the point. Our machines are not reliably air-gapped. There is no protection against this. That concern has been raised and dismissed over and over and over again for years. This release, it's finally on paper. It's documented. So real quick, what is the PBD and ODNI? Let's talk about that. PDB, President's Daily Brief, the classified morning intelligence summary prepared for the president. You're going to see that term over and over again. The acronym, and the ODNI, Office of the Director of National Intelligence. So just so you guys know, if we're referencing that, they coordinate all 18 U.S. intelligence agencies, the ODNI. Now, let's go ahead and go to the next paper. How do you like this for government release?
Whoa. Is there any words on it?
For those of you on audio, we'll read the only words on this whole freaking sheet of paper. Analysis on U.S. voter registration information from the 18 states. Plans to conduct U.S. person matching and public opinion analysis would be used for mining P2 on U.S. citizens to analyze, discover the identities of most important U.S. targets. This is in regards to China and what they are interested in doing. So let's go to the next step. This is China's intent in being able to get all of this data. U.S. voter registration databases from state governments of Georgia, Iowa, et cetera, registered U.S. military personnel information database, comprehensive P2 baseline on U.S. persons. Okay, serious question here. They're able to get our voter registration, our voter data, and some people are going to make the argument, yeah, it's publicly available, kind of, to an extent. But the fact that they're collecting it, the fact that the system is vulnerable, and the fact, which we'll get to in just a moment, that 200 million plus records, I believe it was, were leaked, that should concern us. That should be a wake-up call. And I'm hoping when you walk away with this, you have some armed information. If you haven't gone through all these files yet, it was a late night last night. But I think it's really important for us to understand exactly how serious China is about this new information, AI, and technology Cold War in which we are inhabiting. And you really got to understand, we are in a Cold War with China. We have been for many, many years, and it is a new type. Smart adversaries pick real divisions. That is something that I think you really got to understand. Racial tension, immigration, gun policy, women's rights, these are all distrust points, if you will, nodes between the public and law enforcement that the Chinese were very interested in utilizing against us. In this report, this is the president's brief. Beijing had derogatory information on a White House official in an effort to compel him to take a restrained approach to China. We assess that this threat is credible. Lower-level Chinese officials have recommended collecting and using black materials, quote unquote, against perceived anti-China U.S. officials since at least January of 2019. The NSA deliberately circumvented messaging during the president's daily brief around elections. And specifically, I want to pull these out of this draft here, heavily redacted. The president's daily briefing, PBD, or PDB, excuse me, Patrick Bet David, PDB, anyway, PDB, which apparently they've worded away from elections. I haven't seen the draft, and I would be concerned, writes this internal officer, I would be concerned as to why they are deliberately massaging analysis away from elections. I haven't seen the draft, and the colleagues reply the same morning, I am not sure what to make of this. So this is two people inside. We keep hearing about the deep state. You just saw an email about the deep state with people who are on the fence. They're kind of circumventing. They're on the outskirts of the deep state saying, wait a minute. Not only is China collecting this data, not only are they interested in influencing our elections, but they're holding blackmail over internal officials. This is during the president's first term. We want to steer away from elections during the president's daily briefing. The fact that we have those people, they're capable of massaging, one of their own words, what the president of the United States actually hears. They're actually interested in trying to play keep away with critical information. This is the deep state. You keep hearing about it. We're reading them talking to each other. And one of them saying, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this at all. This is not comfortable. I don't want any part of this. And I don't like what I'm seeing. The people who are doing it should be tried for treason. I mean, I think that is a treasonable offense.
All in favor, say aye.
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 You say aye, Mr. Producer?
Aye.
Yeah, okay. We all agree. That is a serious offense that should be looked at. The fact that they're withholding the idea that they're being blackmailed, and again, that's a terrible position, but two, they are directly attempting to influence the president around a national security threat. I would say elections are a national security threat. So again, this release proves a lot, and we have a lot to stake our claim on. I want to be really careful and say, let's make sure that we stick within what we have at the moment, and let's take a cue from the president on this. He's letting the concrete dry, to use Dan Bongino's phrase, before we roll the tanks over it. We got to make sure that we are on firm, solid ground legally from a moral perspective as well. We want to make sure that we are always speaking the truth. As Christians, we always wish to speak the truth in love, and we wish to be able to correct things in love and in truth, because truth has a name. And if you believe that Christ is the essence of truth, the origin of truth, we want to make sure that when we speak, it's not just an idea or a theory, it's a conspiracy fact. We want to be very careful how we go. Next up, Mr. Producer. Continuing on, this is during the key judgments fight that you see in some of the emails going back and forth. We are fine with the inclusion of the minority view text box, but the analysis in said text box must comport to the same analytic standards as the rest of the ICA. This is an absolute red line for the FBI. We do not support the inclusion of the minority view in the KJs, the key judgments findings. So what you're seeing is the dissent that, hey, we actually should bring this to the president was quashed. Next cut. What this report does not prove, and some people are going to be really upset at me, okay? But I think it's worth saying this is what the report does not prove. No documents in the release identifies a specific voting machine that was accessed, altered, or manipulated in a U.S. election. We haven't proven the case yet. We've only laid the foundations. Anecdotal evidence of generalized tampering is 100% available, viable. We know that they did this. So let's stand on that for now and say we need more data. Now, the next one, this is interesting. This is some of the anecdotal evidence, and I think that this is fascinating. A man in a Biden shirt offers to collect this woman's absentee ballot in this one complaint form. She told him that she was not registered. She gave him nothing. A registration card arrived. She never requested. She shredded the ballot. She's 100% certain that she was never registered to vote and has never voted in any election. And the FBI's own check, an open source query of the Michigan voter lookup, revealed her as a registered voter. There's many of these stories. Let's go next one. This one man collected any names, or he never collected any names, rather. He would just sit in his car the whole shift and put down a name of a friend or a relative in order to have something to turn in on his clipboard. These are people who are canvassing. Next one. This other one knew of other canvassers. This other affidavit knew of other canvassers who would trade marijuana and or money for voter registration applications. Other canvassers were, quote unquote, probably submitting voter registration applications with fictitious names. The next one, probably forged. Could not specifically remember if he forged signatures, but advised that he probably did at some point during his employment. He believed people would fake signatures. On another affidavit, we see number 14, name located, deceased, but was alive at the time of the registration. All information matched except the address. So we see a lot of hanky-panky with the voter rolls. So let's go to the standard. Where evidence of a crime exists, it should be investigated. If warranted, prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That is something that we need to apply across the board. We need to make sure that we are looking to that. And again, this is another note from the release. Cyber operations targeting the electronic tabulation of results could delay results reporting, potentially creating a public uncertainty, but probably not affecting the integrity of the certified results, says this one National Intelligence Council report. That's their report, okay? And that's their opinion that they're giving. I think it is very concerning, as we have said a moment ago. The warning, adversaries could make wholly fabricated claims, such as announcing that they have compromised all U.S. voting machines, a claim that would be difficult and time-consuming or impossible for the U.S. government to disprove. Again, this is the NIC writing. Now, I want to take a moment here and say, doesn't the fact that it is that unsecure unsettle every American? If it doesn't unsettle you, why? If it doesn't unsettle you, why? And the NIC is way too haughty, in my opinion, in their assessment of this, because some average hacker at CISA is able to break into an election system within a day, within a single 8-hour shift. Within a single 8-hour shift, they are able to break in and access that. Why is the NIC so tepid to say? I don't think they're tepid. I think they're arrogant and or maybe complicit. Don't know, allegedly, don't know. But I would say, why on earth would you say, oh, the big danger is damaging the reputation of our institutions? Not that they could actually hack your election. I'm sorry. So even the people writing these documents, I don't fully trust because of the way they write that. It is insane to me. It is insane to me how flippant they are with our
It's our process.
Our process, our very nature.
It's a righteous process. It's the right way to do it. Think about this. How many other countries would like to be able to do what America does when it comes to voting?
All of them.
Do you think China would?
Do
you think Russia would?
Yeah.
Do you think North Korea would?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
I mean, it is so ridiculous. And it really is. It's evil. There's a lot of evil that is looking to pull America down. And thankfully, there's a God that sits on the throne that says, not unless I allow it.
100%. So we want to be a part of doing the righteous thing.
Amen.
And that includes fixing this. And so I'm really grateful to the president for doing this. But that NIC report rubbed me really wrong, but I did include it. I wanted to go ahead and add it. I think it actually does more damage to their side than it does
would agree.
support. The fact that they're
Yep.
so flippant in the face of blatant holes. And that alone should concern you. That in itself, I think, does more to prove that we have a rotten institution running, a rotten security infrastructure, that the people they feel so free to say that. It drives me crazy. But we'll keep reading through their data. Keep on, Mr. Producer. So this is a substantive revision, publicly aware or available U.S. voter registration information for 6 U.S. states, downloaded from commercial websites by the People's Republic of China, CNE actor, in January 2022. These websites hosting the voter registration records are commercial websites, and that fact has been clarified in the report. So just, guys, understand that is really concerning. Next cut. The actual motivations for collecting this information is unknown. An Ohio voter registration application was also of interest to the PRC CNE actor, but failed to download from the United States government's website. Indicated that they had previously purchased 2020 voter data and provided a sample containing data from cities within Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina. The fact that voter data is being purchased should be terrifying.
Oh, man.
Unspecified voter data, 204,822,241 records dated at 2016 have been purchased.
Okay. So let's pause there for just a moment.
What are they doing with those records?
That's
what do they want?
Wow.
What do they want? What does China run? What does China run that has the most influence over Americans? Say TikTok, Mr. Producer.
Oh, yeah.
TikTok.
Social media.
TikTok. Guess what they're interested in doing? Remember the hullabaloo over Russia's involvement in 2016?
Yep.
My memory serves, and someone fact checked me in the live chat over on PSB. By the way, you can listen to it live at PSB on their Rumble, 1 to 3 Central on Sunday. $10,000 of Facebook ads were spent. And that whole hubbubaloo about the Russian influence in our election to prevent Hillary was $10,000 in Facebook ad spend. I don't think you understand how much $10,000 is in ad spend. That is a medium-sized company for one day spending money. Okay, that is a 7-8 figure a year company spending in one day. So that's the entire total. And we heard about Russian influence, Russian hacking the election. China bought 204,822,241 voters' records.
And what's the population of the U.S.?
It's 300-something,
360-some million, give or take.
Plus a few illegals.
And you've got how many of those 360-some million are kids?
On TikTok.
So what you basically told me is that for all legitimate voting people, their data was purchased.
Yep. And so in the live chat, Ria Checks says this, that is similar to what Meta was doing in 2020 to influence elections through social media and Google. The fact that Google will change the predictive text search on Google, I forget what it was. It was more than a plurality. I believe it was a majority of people change their opinions based on being hit with predictive text over and over again. The people who are in the undecided center. Okay, if you say Trump assassination fraud is the predictive text that adds to it, that changes minds.
Yes,
so
it does.
let's take that. That's a verified fact. And there's a bunch of leftists who have actually chimed in on this and said, it's scary that Google has that much power. We should actually take a look because that could be turned on us too. There's a couple of really, really prestigious professors who have come out and said, wait a minute, we need to relook at this. Google is changing election results just by their... Now, imagine a malicious actor like China doing that.
And now let's think about deep state.
Yeah.
Why? So our friends on the other side, they aptly bring up those issues. We ought to maybe look at this because we don't want that being done against us. Why aren't you looking at Because you got deep state people that want this to work this way.
Correct, because and it's ultimately a selfish pursuit. So, continuing on, Mr. Producer, let's move forward. So, this is another ballot story from a undisclosed source to us, anyway. A collaborative source with indirect access, none of whose reporting has been corroborated, obtained evidence from a subsource who they claimed obtained it from the PRC document officials. FBI comments, a person's address and information are not valid, a valid field when creating a TikTok account. It was unspecified how China would obtain U.S. address data from the application. I don't care. And this is them writing this. I don't care. It should be of concern. It should be of concern. China is not a friend. They are a foe. Since 2018, Chinese cyber actors known as APT31 have targeted the personal email accounts of senior U.S. leadership, including officials in the executive branch and the highest ranking officials in multiple executive branch organizations, Congress, and the federal judiciary. As the 2020 election approaches, the IC has detected Chinese state-sponsored cyber actors targeting former Vice President Biden in his presidential campaign. The IC assesses that China does not currently intend to covertly interfere. I disagree with you. That's okay. To try to sway the outcome of the election, Google officials have publicly stated that spear phishing attempts were unsuccessful. So wait a minute. They don't intend to interfere, but we have confirmation of spear phishing. Riddle me that, Batman. Next one. We assess that China prefers that the president does not win re-election, although Beijing did not intend to affect the election. That is their opinion.
They certainly didn't want Trump to win.
Russia, on the other hand, repeatedly attempted, and the one actor this assessment describes reaching towards state, local government systems. They propose recorded as their purpose was recorded as unknown. Rather, China documented interest, collection, and influence planning. The same assessment says Beijing did not deploy efforts to change the outcome. Neither is shown in this release to have successfully altered the vote. But one of the things that I would say on this, they definitely don't seem to care if China was interested, because they literally said they're not trying to influence an outcome, even though they are spear phishing Trump's campaign. Yep. If you don't know what spear phishing is, it is an attempt to hack local computers. So they're trying to hack us, but they don't appear to actually be involved in election influence.
Right.
Okay. Sure, buddy.
And you know, I go back to one major world event that I think absolutely affected things. And that was when Elon Musk purchased Twitter.
I think it definitely helped.
That was a huge help, because in my opinion, the two really, really super bad actors at that time would have been Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, Meta and Twitter definitely went way outside the pale. And again, Ria checks the chat over at PSB is popping off. APT31 is a Chinese state-sponsored cyber espionage group that conducts malicious cyber attacks on behalf of the Hubei State Security Department, HSSD. 100%, and I am glad that they are there. That we are aware of them doing that. That they're there? Yeah.
Yep.
So they're absolutely going crazy. With that said, we need to take attacks from APT31 very, very seriously, and I don't think that they are. Next cut, Mr. Producer. Russia's aim. These figures are conspiring to intensify their efforts to orchestrate a high-profile corruption scandal implicating former Vice President Biden and the Democratic Party at the peak of the 2020 U.S. presidential campaign. Their aim is to defeat the former vice president and ensure the president's victory. This is what the NIC is writing. So, you know, I'm just saying these are not our friends, but they are saying that things are happening. Russia actors have circulated narratives about voter fraud resulting from mail-in balloting and called some U.S. primary voting processes rigged by the Democratic Party. So they're saying Russia is behind it. They're saying that China is not, even though they've documented that China is. Just for the note, we're reading the reports, okay? Not everything that's coming out of this administration is inherently perfect. There's a lot of these people, and some of these people are from previous administrations, right? A lot of these people are still not our friends, and we're still seeing that in what they're putting out, and they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. So this report is not the one that we wanted. It's not. But it's a good start. And I think it's definitely moving in the correct direction. I do want to go ahead and go on to our fourth pillar, and that is Michigan. So in Michigan, what did we see? Well, first we need to go ahead and describe what the PIN and GJ are. Public Integrity Section, the DOJ Criminal Division, the unit in Washington that must sign off before federal prosecutors or FBI pursue an election crimes case. GJ, the grand jury investigation, the stage that grants subpoena power and sworn testimony. So, real quick, the MCPD estimates that she submitted approximately 8,000 to 10,000 applications, of which are an undetermined number appeared fraudulent. Okay, these are applications to vote. She told all the employees that if they couldn't get enough applications, they should just fill them in. This occurred at a meeting with over 100 employees present.
Prison time.
Picked up a blank ballot application and filled it out with made-up information and said, "This is what I meant." Told, okay, yeah, next one, Mr. Producer. Good, next one. There you go. Told to put any numbers she could think of for Social Security number. She could make up names or use anyone else's name, fill in enough blank sheets to make up people so that she reached her daily quota of 7 to 8 applications per shift. Was instructed by management to make up phone numbers and date of births on voter registration applications. It was paid hourly to do so. There were no incentives for submitting voter registrations. Estimated that she submitted 100 fake voter registration applications. It would not surprise her if there were thousands of fake voter registration applications submitted. Everyone working there was aware it was occurring. This is the scale that we're operating at. Of 20 randomly selected voter registration applications already flagged by the Muskegon clerk, 7 completely fabricated, 4 with real name but a date of birth, driver's license, and/or social security number that did not match. One with fabricated address. 7 all correct or nearly all correct. She doesn't know if the group was trying to impact the election or were just personally trying to make money at a job, and a supervisor told her the forms were sent to the main office and then shredded, so it didn't matter if the names were fabricated. Do we actually know? Good question. Continuing on, PIN authorized FFI into prepaid cards. Investigation into voter fraud was not authorized. PIN authorized full field investigation. And I'm not really comfortable closing the case at this point without raising these issues, says one of the investigators. Okay. We are preparing to close the investigation, says an email. But before we do so, I was hoping to discuss with you the limited scope that PIN was approved. I wanted to raise my concerns before closing the case and was hoping to better understand the reasoning behind not approving a full investigation. Response, your respective offices have evaluated the matter and are not seeking further investigation or prosecutive action at the time based on the information that was previously provided. PIN agrees with that conclusion. Guys, they are not properly investigating these. They're not. And if I'm going too fast, it's because there's a lot to say. But people are being given gift cards for registrations, and then they are filling them out as fast as they possibly can in these cases. Now, allegedly, that batch was caught. Allegedly. How many of those weren't caught? And was that one even truly caught?
So
good question.
Let's kind of pull this home to the Houston area. And I'm going to go back to 2016. 2015, Harris County judge, and by the way, for those that are not from Texas, in Texas, your counties are run by what is called a county judge. It is not a county commissioner per se. They participate in those meetings for sure. They run the county though. Ed Emmett was the county judge, if I'm not mistaken, at that time. He lost to a Democrat by less than 400 votes, if I'm not mistaken. Now,
Think about that.
think about this. That's the 4th largest county in the U.S. Okay, population-wise. Yep.
Harris is third.
Third largest county, population-wise, in the U.S. You're talking about impacting a major area of people if something like this were to occur in that area.
Yep.
We're not even talking about high-level people being elected to office. We're not talking about a governor. We're not talking about a senator. We're talking about a county commissioner, if you will, a county judge. If you don't think that has ramifications, it does. And the reason being is this. That Democrat county judge, Lena Hidalgo, missed a lot of time in Harris County government. That's number one. Number two, they influence everything when it comes to voting
Correct.
for the county.
The voter registrar is the Trojan horse.
Yes.
It's absolutely the one that if they win them, it's
On
stacked
them.
and screwed.
They can do what they want.
Continue on, Mr. Producer. We're almost at the end of this. Hopefully you guys are benefiting from this. This was a lot of work, but I think it's actually very valuable. So let's go ahead and continue on. The matter implicates the department's election non-interference policy and its election year sensitivity policies. Penn concurs that in the proposed interviews only after November 7th, 2023 election, Penn also concurs in any other appropriate covert instigative activity even prior to the election. All of that to say that the forms are caught at the clerk's desk, supposedly. Supposedly, no fraudulent ballots were cast, but here's the big issue. No one was charged. It's usually a misdemeanor, and that's a serious issue. So what can we walk away with saying here? Well, let's go ahead and go into this. This was not what we wanted and hoped for. It's still pretty freaking damning. Like it is really, really damaging to the left, and they need to understand that. No document states that a certified vote total was altered in this data. However, we do have assessments that are still, and I think they're deep state assessments, but they cut against that claim. But you can hear the double talking out of their mouths. So this is, again, from another letter, another internal email. See attached voter fraud spreadsheet, which details all information and outcomes of person searched. On other spreadsheet named stats, I provided some percentage breakdowns as per your request. So all that to say, this is what they have the data, but they're not willing to make the statement. Let's go to what HAVA is. We've had HAVA for many, many years, since 2002. Help America Vote Act. Federal law already requires a person registering to vote to have a valid driver's license number and or 4 digits of an SSN or some other form of qualification. What we see here is they were told to put just any number that they could think of for the Social Security number. She could make up names or use anyone else's name. 7 completely fabricated persons were found. 4 with a real name but a date of birth, driver's license, or SSN number that did not match. Verification standard exists. It's already in federal law, and it's not being enforced.
Amen.
It's not being enforced, and it should be enforced to the greatest extent of the law. Requiring and verifying ID at registration is not a partisan position. If you think it is, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. Seriously. It's existing federal law, but it's never enforced. CISA's recommended mitigation measures include in paper-based voting records, rigorous post-election manual audits, SBOM adoption, and improved incident tracking, provide a path towards measurable near-term improvements. The word says this: prove all things, hold fast to that which is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. We need to be wise, and we need to prove that which is good. Now, hopefully you found that edifying. Last question for you. Go ahead and throw that up, Mr. Producer. Envelopes. Do you lick or stick? And I want to put this to the chat. Do you lick or do you stick? The self-seal, or do you lick them?
It's self-seal for me.
Self-seal for you?
Yep.
Okay. Do you lick your envelopes or do you self-seal them?
Oh,
Do you lick them or, okay. Mr. Producer, do you lick them or self-seal them? Guys in the chat, you got to tell us, lick or self-seal? Lick or self-seal?
I can't remember the last time I used an envelope.
oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
See, I'm a licker, not a sticker. I like the.
Oh my gosh.
I like.
Oh, that was
I-
good.
I like to lick the
So
envelope.
That made my afternoon.
I know.
That is the
why I'm
most
here.
Gen Z thing I have
Hello?
ever heard.
Hello?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I think John Rutherford forgets sometimes that I'm Gen Z.
You are very no.
we
We
there's
don't
no way to-
forget.
there's no way to forget
We
that.
don't forget. No.
So okay. So I've got
do we got?
self seal
Yep.
tape from Singing Wind.
Ooh.
Rhea checks self seal. Okay, and Big Kahuna. I always lick before I stick. I'm with you. Yes, Big Kahuna. You're right. Kahuna. Okay.
All right.
So okay, we've got a nice diversity of opinion.
I need
here.
some more stickers in here.
So I don't know if you're gonna be joined on that. There's something. I'm sorry. It's a weird thing. It's an olfactory thing for me. I like the lick.
I do not. 'cause
I like the lick.
It
It
tastes
brings back
awful.
memories.
And that taste just sits there.
You don't like the taste of the
No,
lick? I
I'm
like
telling
the taste
you.
of the lick.
I like the taste too. It just
But can
It's
I
kinda
be
sweet.
Can I be honest though?
Yeah.
I have to be honest.
You have to be.
If it's me, if you want a more sure seal,
You gotta
I
lick 'em.
have to lean to
You
the
gotta lick
lick.
them. So
do.
Heidi the Jensen, you ask a very good question. Do the envelopes come from China? If they do, I am not licking that sucker.
that's true.
I am not licking it.
Oh,
because
could
it
be
probably has
poison.
coronavirus on
We
it.
are
probably
we are
or
digressing so bad.
So
Tell him what's on it.
okay.
That was a good question.
Thank you.
It's a good
Okay.
question.
Okay. So, with that said, we were asked last week a very, very important question. You have to get cut one number ready. Number one ready, Mr. Producer. I'm tired. Okay. It was a late night last night. Do all dogs go to heaven?
That was
they?
the question. Yeah, that was the question. And guys, just to make sure that we're clear, we're going to get into this. We're going to share with you what the Bible says. We're also going to share with you what the Bible doesn't say.
Yeah.
But let's all right. So Steve, favorite pet in your history. What was it?
A dog.
Okay, what was the dog's name?
Slayer.
Okay. Favorite pet.
Favorite pet? Oh, it was definitely Kayla.
Okay. Mine was Tippy. Tippy was the ultimate. If there's going to be a dog in heaven, Tippy will be there. I'm just saying. So, Ryan,
Every dog I've ever had.
no. It's
such a
Gen Z.
cop-out.
It is
Come
so
on.
Gen Z. What is your favorite pet?
I guess Bella. You could cuddle her at any time.
Very good,
Mine.
Bella.
Okay. In the comment section, drop your
Tell us.
favorite pet. Yeah.
Because
sure.
here's the thing. We were picking on Ryan there. Ryan loves all dogs, so I'm not. But the thing is, we become so attached to our dogs, do we not?
Oh
Yeah.
It's an emotional thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not trying to digress away from cats at all. I'm not trying to, but because the question last week that was asked was, do all dogs go to heaven? And what a question. What a question, because we don't want to lose the connection that we have with that one pet. So Ryan, next cut if you would please on that. And this here is where we're going today. To answer the question today, we're going to broaden the topic to give a little perspective on this. And we're going to research what the Bible says. I'm going to give you some verses here. We're going to articulate what the Bible does not say. And then we're going to give you a concluding thought on the question. And it might surprise some of you, but I want to kind of level this out and give you a little forethought here. Ryan, next cut, if you would. So let's ask the following question. Are there any animals in heaven? And I think if we were all watching, our verses, we would go, yeah, there is. And there is. I want to go through these verses here for you right now.
And the lion and the lamb and the lion shall rest with the lamb, says just a pug.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
100% agree.
If you would, John Arthur, would you grab that?
The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb.
So we got a wolf and a lion. Keep going.
And the leopard shall lie down with the kid.
Okay. We got a leopard and we've got a goat.
And the calf and the young lion
Hello.
and the fatling together. And a little child shall lead them.
I love it. Keep going.
And the cow and the bear shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like an ox. And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp.
Whoa. Whoa.
Snakes are in heaven.
What did you just say?
Asps are in heaven.
Okay, so all of you that are listening and watching and you're petrified of snakes, I am sorry. I do not mean to burst your bubble.
I need the meme from you, Mr. Producer. I hate snakes. Harrison Ford with his pointy finger.
Is that are they talking about a snake or
Yes.
the asp?
Adder.
Adder. It's a snake.
It's a snake.
I know an asp is a snake. I know that, but they also have an asp that's a small little critter that's about that
It's a
long.
snake.
That's
But do they have their own holes?
It's a snake.
That was clear. That was a
It's a
hole.
snake.
The hole of an asp.
It's a snake.
It's a snake.
Snake.
Yep. All right.
continue on, Mr.
Bring
Producer.
bring that cut up.
Let's keep going. And the second child shall play in the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain.
All right. So this is really important to note that there are other animals in heaven for sure. We know that. One of the things that I want everybody to realize is that when we talk about what God has created, He created all of creation. He's created He created, newsflash, animals first before man. Now there was purpose in that, but I'm just telling you that He created animals before man. And it's interesting, what did God do with Adam at the very beginning there? He brought all the animals before Adam to be named. What was the other purpose that he brought them? To find a helpmate. And in all of them, there was not found one. And that's the reason we have Eve. When you think about the closeness of animals, we're not talking plants. We're talking animals. When you talk about the closeness of animals, even from the very beginning, even from Genesis early on, you can see that animals had a very important part to play in mankind's existence. So, Ryan, next cut, if you would, please. Let's catch this verse. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock. And dust shall be the what?
The serpent's,
The serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord. So, yeah, for those of you that don't like the snakes, listen, you're going to need to change your attitude.
You missed out real big.
Go ahead.
When we went to Glen Rose.
Oh.
And we went to go see the Creation Museum there. Under hyperbaric oxygen, if you imagine a canopy around the Earth with
And there was one.
with a 4-foot thick layer of ice, the firmament, that was shattered on a cosmic impact event. If you assume all of that with the 3x atmospheric pressure, significantly more oxygen,
Yep.
they created a hyperbaric chamber experiment simulating this, and the snakes the venom lost its sting, and it became a digestive juice for fruit. They became vegetarians. Piranha, they had multiple piranha in a tank in there, and they became vegetarian. And they also grew to 4 times the size that they normally do as meat eaters.
I'm telling you, hyperbaric chamber science is fascinating.
yeah.
It's really interesting stuff. And
Yes.
so this is all the work of Carl Baugh.
Yep.
So interesting study. Not sure what to make of it.
And where's that again? That was out
Up in Glen Rose, Texas.
Glen Rose, that's right.
So a bit west of Dallas.
And we've got a friend here at church that took his family up there. He said, Charlie, that was the ultimate.
So get on out there. Actually, you
Yeah.
can excavate in some layers where human and dino prints are in the same
Yep.
space. Kinda
Really cool stuff. Next cut, Mr. Ryan. Continuing on with some more verses here. And John Arthur, if you could get that.
I got you.
Revelation 19:11.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge,
So-
and make war.
We've got horses up there as well.
Yeah, Christ comes down riding a horse. I don't think he co-ops it, like plucks
Right.
it up,
Right.
and then hops on.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
To me, it's really interesting when you think about the different animals, and that's quite a varied list right there. All right. We were talking about bears and leopards and cows and goats, and it's a real variation of animal. So what's excluded? Well, we don't really see anything that's excluded.
Correct.
Per se.
We see the lowest of the low.
We see the lowest of the low. Absolutely. Ryan, keep going with that next cut if you would. This is from 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 17. I'll see if I can get this. And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open the eyes that he, oh, thank you very much, open the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. This is a really excellent scene here. And Elisha needed to see some things, and God opened his eyes long enough for him to see it. And it was horses and chariots of fire all over the place. There is a spiritual aspect to the issue of animals. There really is. Now, do animals have souls?
Not in
No,
the same way.
not the same way we do, for sure. Man is unique, and this is another reason why we've tried to state and emphasize, look, don't treat your animals, your pets, like children.
They're not fur babies. They didn't come out of
They
that
didn't?
canal. I'm
Nope.
sorry. I'm sorry. Don't call them a fur baby. That's gross.
Yep.
It's derogatory towards children.
So,
They're
yeah.
different. They're different. I
Yep.
mean, yeah.
And they should be treated
And
different.
they should be treated different. Now, they should be treated with love and care and kindness.
Yes, because the Bible does say we are to respect the beast.
A righteous man
Mm-hmm.
cares for his animal.
Yep. Ryan, next cut, if you would, please. This is 2 Kings 2:11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire. Now that's interesting.
Horses of fire sound.
Horses of fire. I want a horse of fire.
That's pretty metal.
And parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So there are lots of different animals that appear in heaven. Next cut, Mr. Ryan. And this here is another set of verses I want to bring out. This is Genesis 1, 24 and 25, and then we're going to read verse 31. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. In the evening and the morning were the sixth day. This is what I want to emphasize here. What needs to be redeemed? What was destroyed? What was impacted by sin at the beginning? All of creation. What does God ultimately want to restore to its proper place? Creation. Do all dogs go to heaven? The Bible doesn't say that all dogs go to heaven. It does not say that there are no dogs in heaven. It doesn't say that either. But my gut tells me, this is Pomeroy opinion now, my gut tells me that we'll see dogs in heaven, maybe even some of our pets. All of them? Don't know. None of them? Don't know. But I think there's a case to be made that, yeah, we'll probably see dogs in heaven. Thoughts?
So I do think that there's at least a return of the essence to God, because God is the uncaused mover.
Yep.
And I think if I remember correctly, Aquinas actually specifically spoke to this. He's like, there's no return necessarily of an individual discrete soul, but God is the one that is moving everything that has breath with its initial giving
And I didn't
breath.
bring that out. That's another thing.
Yeah.
The breath of life.
So by definition, there is something intrinsically in the animal that has a form of a soul. It is not ontologically like a human by reason of nature, by course of nature. It's
Yep.
not like a human, but they do have a spirit, a soul that is driving and is integral with their body and their parts. So I think that there is something where there might be something,
Yep.
but Aquinas was more of the opinion that the life force returned to God and there was nothing left. So don't know, but I sure hope I get to see my dog.
I was going to say, so Steve, you got Slayer coming back?
I sure hope so, man. I'd like to see him. He was a
Good dog?
He was a good dog.
What kind of dog?
Bulldog. American
Get out.
Bulldog.
Oh,
He was a good dog.
I think those dogs are fun. Those bulldogs.
A good bulldog is a lot of fun.
Yep.
He was a good dog.
Got a cousin with a French bulldog. So first off, Frenchie bulldogs, they should be outlawed. Like you should never breed them intentionally, but they're adorable because they sit there and they because they're choking on their esophagus
And Slayer would catch.
but they're adorable dogs.
Slayer would catch hogs too.
No way.
Yes, way.
I had, so Tippy was a mostly collie.
See,
We had her on the farm.
Collie Sheltie was Kayla.
Oh,
my
man,
gosh.
I'll tell you what, she was the ultimate dog. She could play with us. She was the kind that we could roughhouse with her and have our hand in her mouth. She would not bite down, but she had a blast, playing. I'll share one quick story. We were gone on vacation, and a family friend came to the house, and he went up on the porch, and Tippy grabbed a hold of his pant leg and had it all the way up to the door where he knocked. He didn't move fast or anything. He just knocked. Nobody there. He walked back to the stairs on the porch. She let go and he went on his way, but he was petrified. He was very uncomfortable.
Good dog.
Yeah, she was a great, great dog. Miss Old Tippy.
Good dog.
So tell us, you think they go discreetly to heaven? Do you think they cease to be? Do you think that there is some sort of essence that returns to the Lord? I'm not quite sure. This is more meaningful than did Adam and Eve have belly buttons, but we have the same amount of proof either way.
Yeah, there's
Right.
two things that make me think that there will be dogs in heaven. Number one,
They'll be there. Will we see ours?
Yes,
is the question.
We
Right.
see a number of different animals. That's number one. But number
Now-
two, this is the big one that impacts me the most on this: the breath of life.
Yeah, that was given.
that was
There's
given
some, there's
by
some
God.
sort of
Well-
active soul that's given.
Yeah.
Where does that soul go? Because every animal has his or her own personality.
Yep.
And by the way, it is a his or a her personality. The boys act differently than girls, and part of that's driven by the body. But
Yep.
part of it, I don't know. I don't know ontologically. Like, do they have enough of a soul and being that God says, okay, not just return to me, but also there's an additional life because
Yep.
they're not rational beings.
Yep.
But we love them and we hope to see them. If I had to bet money, I'd say we would.
Yep.
Right. And it's a question of whether or not we're going to see the original animals that God created, or we're going to see other animals.
Well, and I'll tell you,
Know what I
the horses of fire. I read that phrase and I'm like, I need me a horse of fire.
Man, could you imagine?
Saddle
Oh,
up, baby.
Man,
Let's do it.
That's some
something.
That's some metal album cover material right there.
Boy, you're not kidding.
Yes.
Speaking
Ooh.
of crazy material, it's time for Steve's shenanigans.
I can't go
You
shoot
bet.
me a buffalo.
Nope. Nope.
Stay out of my garbage can. I'll keep it to myself.
And
I love
stay out of my garbage
I love
can.
the name of this segment. This is great.
Shenanigans. Yeah, I thought it was good
Yep.
branding.
Things that are incompatible with each other. We got a few things that are going to be a little incompatible with each other. May hurt a few feelings, but I'm politically incorrect. So that's the way it's going to be, folks. How about that?
Oh, this
So-
is going to be fun.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get started with number one, Captain. There be monsters in those woods. Okay?
Well, I
So
think
you better watch out when you go into the woods. That one might be incompatible with you.
well, I think your grandson there was quite compatible with that rifle.
He certainly
I tell
was.
you what, him and that monster
Yep.
were pretty compatible.
he looked very happy.
Boy, I'm telling you, you should have seen the teeth on that dude.
I know.
I believe it.
The hog
Son of a gun
itself
had
looked like
over 4-inch teeth on it.
Man.
I ain't
Speaking
kidding you.
of big guns, what's not compatible, Steve?
Let's get on to that one. Next.
Cut 13.
Yes, sir. We have a 300 blackout and a 30-06. Now, how are these incompatible?
They're only
Try putting one in another.
well, it's like 5.56 and 300 blackout. They're compatible until your receiver unwraps next to your face.
Exactly.
Ow.
Kind of works out the same way with a 300 blackout and 30-06.
In other words, don't do it. It's our
Don't
it's our non-professional advice to
And
never.
if you look, put that picture back up there, Captain. If you look at the cases, you can tell they don't work out, and the necks on them, it's not going to fit.
Nope.
in
Okay.
Nope.
the gun at all.
Not going to.
Next one.
Next one, sir.
Number 14.
Yes, sir. Now, these two don't get along too very well. A constitutional republic, which is what we have, and socialism.
They can
and
leave.
all
Yeah.
these others.
If
Go
you wanna
find
wave
another
that flag.
country. Go to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear they're
Like-
voting really well down there.
Tough luck
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, they had a lot of good voting, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Iran,
Oh,
that's a good.
They know how to vote.
They get along real well. They do that.
I love
See,
the-
George Washington started us off. You know who that guy was, right?
Yep.
Yep.
The founder of this country
Yep.
started it
One
off,
of them. Yep.
or one of them
Yep.
One of them.
started it off. Next one, Captain. Ho, looky here.
No, that
Actual-
doesn't.
actual
That's
photo.
not,
Mr. Charlie and mosquitoes.
that's not going to work.
These two are completely incompatible.
Incompatible.
Are you sure?
And you want to know something?
don't
What'll
wanna
help
be a
keep
pinkish?
those? You want to know what'll help keep those mosquitoes away?
Rubbing myself in oranges.
Lavender,
Yep. Yep.
Marigold.
lemon grass.
Lemongrass. I want to say
Rosemary.
The rosemary and was thyme one of them?
No.
No.
Time is none of them.
No.
Okay.
It's for steak.
Yep.
Ooh.
Don't make a mistake.
Sage is for steak too.
Sage is good on steak.
But the lavender I could do. I'll
Lavender
live with
work.
that.
Yep. Lavender, rosemary, and lemongrass work good.
You see,
they'll
that-
keep those mosquitoes away, Mr. Charlie.
Yep. I need to
And
go buy
those
some
two-
plants.
Those
Nikki,
two don't get along very
get
well
my
at all.
up. You need to up my allowance. I need to get some.
Make you some rosemary hedges, huh?
That reminds me of canoeing up in the Boundary Waters, where I really did have to use 100% DEET. Nothing else worked.
I
Oh,
can
wow.
And
imagine.
whenever you go to the bathroom, you're going over the cistern, and there's like a little seat on top of it. Plop, plop, plop. And the black flies, any square inch, it doesn't matter which square inches of skin were uncovered. If they're open and available,
They're there.
They're on them. You have 90 seconds between applications because at 120 seconds they light. I timed it because I didn't want to be rubbing deep down there. But guess what? If you leave it uncovered,
You're gonna need to.
Man,
you're gonna get bit, son.
I'll tell you what.
And black flies are worse than mosquitoes. Like,
Yes.
they're
They are
very
bad.
very not fun.
No, not at all.
So you're like,
We had a deer lease on the, what was it? What's the river between Texas and
on the Rio,
Louisiana?
Louisiana. I don't remember
Oh,
which one you're talking about.
What river is that?
Oh
You're talking about the one the Atchafalaya goes over. No,
no.
no.
Which one are you talking about?
Are you talking out of Lake Charles?
No, the one between Texas and Louisiana. Whatever. But it comes out of
It's not the Pontchartrain,
Lake
is it?
Lake Toledo Bend. Comes down, but
Are you talking the Mississippi? You're not talking the
No.
Mississippi.
no,
It's a Sabine.
Sabine River.
That's it.
We were up on the north end of Sabine, just below Toledo Bend on a deer lease.
Yep.
In a bottom, we had a deer lease. I tell you what, when you went to the bathroom, you do a plop plop, you didn't have 1 second.
They were all over you.
Man, the mosquitoes
That's why you got to apply the
would
deep.
be on you like that. And if you it was crazy, man.
So
buddy
next
of
time-
mine's got a picture of the mosquitoes on my back with a shirt. You had to wear 3 shirts
Just to keep them off you. Yeah.
and then cover yourself with spray. Deep, man. It
Yeah.
was horrible.
Charlie and mosquitoes are incompatible.
Oh,
Agreed.
I'm telling
What
you.
else is incompatible, Steve?
Next picture.
Tell us, Swami.
Oh,
Nope.
Next
not that
one.
go.
Miss Nikki. And
So-
getting rained on. Miss Nikki.
Do I tell stories
see
or do
that one?
I? Because she's watching. I'm too
sure
afraid to tell
she's
stories.
Watching. I don't want to get into that one. But
Do not get Miss Nikki wet.
Don't
do it.
that.
Don't
Miss
do it.
Nikki, did you see that? There's a rain jacket there and
All
a
for
rain
you.
suit. Put one on.
We missed you.
Okay.
You got to be here to defend yourself from Steve.
I still have to go home.
You're in
Get
trouble.
an umbrella.
You're donezo.
It helps. Charlie, get an umbrella or buy her a rain suit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I'm done.
Yeah, I plead the fifth, he says. Next one.
Oh, my.
Next one, Captain.
I'm expecting a call from Miss Nikki.
Anytime now.
I'm telling you what she's doing right now. She's going, amen. Don't you dare. I'll slap you.
Next one, Captain. Oh, look here, Captain.
Uh-oh.
True, that's true.
I knew this one. Captain and animal abusers.
There you
Captain does not like animal abusers. And if you saw that picture, had a guy behind bars. That's probably where they belong.
Yeah.
I don't like animal abusers either
Nope.
because,
Unanimous.
you know,
It's bad.
I
It's-
love
it's
to
bad.
hunt and I shoot animals and eat them.
Yep.
But
We got to
I
get you
don't
out,
like
Mr. Producer.
to abuse animals
Yep.
at all, one bit. And I'd just as soon, you know, I could have put a better picture up there of buzzards
You're
eating
good.
on a dead body out in the wood, out
Yep.
in the field someplace. But no, I'd rather. Next one, Captain. Steve,
That,
me.
that is a true fact right there, folks.
and lavender.
Yep.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Put a little story behind this. Okay. I have epilepsy, and the smell of lavender causes me to go into epileptic fits when I smell lavender.
What do you do with
So-
those crunchy ladies who've got the lavender essential oils all over them and they hug you?
I go,
Move along. Move along.
No, he just slowly falls into an epileptic fit.
so it kind of makes me go,
Yeah.
you know.
No, so you guys don't realize this, but Steve, every once in a while, will have a seizure on this podcast, and we're like, "You good?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we keep the camera off him, and we keep going,
Yeah,
until he feels better.
they just turn the camera away from me, and I.
But it does happen. Steve does have a lot
it
of
does.
them. Yeah,
It does, and
Sad.
they're called temporal. What I have is called temporal lobe, partial complex temporal lobe epilepsy,
Holy cow.
which is the worst kind you can have. Is kind of messed up stuff.
The fact that you've memorized the name, I mean,
It
Yeah,
reminds,
that's messed up.
that name reminds me of that Martin, Steve Martin bit where he goes, "I'll have a half calf, decaf, no calf, latte with sprinkles, something like that." Yeah, that's quite
Wow.
the name.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with that. I think it was 26 years ago. So
little while.
yeah, been a while. So something you learn to live with. Next one, Captain. And here's another one.
I get along with liberals just fine, just not for marriage purposes. I would agree.
This one.
I get
That
along
one back up, Captain.
I get along
Don't
just fine
take
with
that one
liberals.
off. John Art,
I work with so many of them. I'm
blue-haired liberal.
Now they probably wouldn't like me too much.
John Arthur doesn't get along with liberals too much, especially if they got blue hair, and probably more so if they got a bull ring in their nose.
Well, again,
Okay.
if we're talking about Dayton, I agree 110%.
And like
Sorry,
the
ladies.
sign, like the meme said, she hates men because they don't date her.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. I wonder
Now,
why.
for those of you that are
one-
listening that may have blue hair,
We're talking about the Dayton story.
yeah, we're.
And there's someone-
Let's be clear here.
I get along just fine with the liberals. It's just I won't be dating one anytime.
I will say, you probably don't appreciate the straw man arguments too much.
no,
No,
I'm tired of
he
it.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
figured you'd like that one.
there you go. This has been Steve trolling us.
No. Next one, Captain.
There's more?
But wait, there's
one,
murder.
another. And
Yeah, that's incompatible.
this one.
Very much.
The
so.
Western
That's incompatible.
world and Islam.
Yes.
What we have here is John Adams and Islam. This is Islam in New York City
It doesn't fit.
praying in the middle of the streets,
Look, if you're
blocking traffic, doing, and I'm not sure how many people were there, but it's
a form of domination.
it's exactly
You know what
what,
it's
it
a form.
is.
It's a form of domination exercise.
And that's exactly
so
what they're doing.
Look, I've got family who are Muslim, and I love them dearly. Most, if not every single one of them, would be put to death if they were in Iran today. Okay, they would be considered apostates. Islam, in its true, like virile
Yep.
origin, where it's from right now, like today, you go there right now, it is the same religion of Muhammad that waited from 6 to 9, peace be upon him, to consummate with his daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, wife. Freudian slip there. That is not a religion that is compatible with Western values.
Not one bit.
It's not compatible. If you're a Muslim and you're a moderate, I'm not talking about you, although I would suggest that you look at something that's a little bit more coherent with the lifestyle that you're living. Sharia has no place in America. Zero.
Amen.
Zero,
Completely.
none. So yes, it's incompatible.
Complete. And that has been Steve's shenanigans.
That was good.
Thank you so much.
I thought Mr. Charlie was going to die for a second.
He was
This has
laughing
got to
pretty
be
hard.
one of the funniest pieces of Steve shenanigans we've done.
So this has been Steve Trolls Us. Now on to the music review.
All right, so welcome to today's song review. And just a reminder before we get into the song for today of why we do this segment, it's because music is a very important part of life. I think it's a big gift from God. We listen to it all the time in our cars, probably while we're cleaning, whatever we're doing around the house. And it's important to, what's the word, regulate what you take in?
I think regulate's a good word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because not every, pretty much every song sounds pretty good, but not all of them have great, truthful lyrics, even some Christian songs.
Yep.
But this one today, I'm super excited to look at. We are going to be looking at Preference by Rachel Morley,
Hey.
which is a very recently found song for me. A few weeks ago, I helped lead a worship night with some friends, and when we were putting together our set list and all that, we made a little playlist on Spotify, listened through it, and that was the first time I heard this song, and it was so convicting. I think it has such a great message for the church to hear today, and I think it's the lyrics everyone can relate to if you're a Christian at least. So let's dive in here. Verse 1. Right here, if you walked in this room, would I recognize you and want you to stay? Or would I not know you and reason you away? Don't just come how I want you, come how you are. What do y'all think of that first verse?
That's a pretty sobering set of words
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
because I've likened Christians to being the kind of people that put a quarter into the vending machine to get out of God what they want. But I thought in today's Bible study, you really worded something very nicely, and that is we want to hijack the goodness of God. We have no interest in the
Actual fruits.
Yeah, the actual fruit, and I would say the responsibility to get to a point where you can bear that fruit. So that those words kind of remind me of what am I really looking for? And if I'm looking for the right thing, come as you are, Lord,
Yes.
not come as I want you.
And that's something people want the cake of the goodness of God. They don't want to spend the time going through the purification process to enjoy
Yeah.
the benefits of that.
Good set of words to start with.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the chorus, which is the best part, I think. What if it doesn't look like what I thought it would? What if you come in ways I didn't know you could? Offend my mind, reveal my heart. I won't worship my preference anymore.
There's very few people that will ask God to offend their mind.
Yeah. And I won't worship my preference anymore. I think a lot of cases we make a small case G
Yep.
out of who we worship.
Yep.
And in a lot of cases we end up worshiping our experience.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that the more liturgical denominations are immune to this, but I do think the evangelical, charismatic side of things, there is a serious risk, especially with the worship music that comes out of CCM. Not all. But some of it worships the experience. And so we end up worshiping our preference. And
Yes.
I think that that's a very well articulated prayer saying, Lord, I'm going to stop worshiping my preference, my lowercase g that I have erected in my heart. You could be worshiping a false god in church every single day if it is ultimately erected to your
Boy, that's a
sensibilities.
fact.
And there'll be people who say, Lord, Lord, and he's going to look at them and say, I never knew you. You should be sober.
Oh, yeah. And one thing for me that I always think about when I hear this chorus is that line, what if it doesn't look like what I thought it would? It makes me think of back when Jesus first came, and what did all the Jews think the Messiah was going to come like?
Yep. Yep. And so many times we'll pray for something and we
expect to get
we
it a certain
expect
way.
an answer that specific way that's in our mind.
Right, yeah.
And so many times God's like, I'm going to do way better than that. But we're not looking for it. And sometimes I think we walk right past the answer and we don't even realize it
Exactly.
because we have ultimately fixed it in our mind how it's supposed to look. And that's not how God works.
Yeah. Yeah, Israel, they were expecting this conquering
King.
to come in and free them from Rome.
Yeah.
What do they get instead? A suffering servant.
Yeah.
Now, the second time he comes, he'll be a conquering king. That first time, he came a suffering servant.
And you know, really what, not to go too much further with this, but look at John the Baptist. He's in prison, sends a servant. Lord, are you the one or do we look for another? Why did he ask that question? He had it in his mind what Jesus was, and he expected him to come, like conquer. This is the time. And that did not happen for him. Not in the way that John the Baptist thought.
Right, yeah. All right, verse 2. Right now, if you whispered my name, would I know your voice? Would I ache to respond? Or would I not hear you, 'cause all else is too loud? Lord, you have my attention. Speak to me now.
So it's a serious question that every Christian should ask. Are we actually listening for the voice of God? Do we actually know his voice? Or
There you go.
do we drown that out with all the distractions of the modern world? All the little idols we erect?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, because that's, like you said, I think that's something every Christian struggles with from time to time, is like focusing too much on the things of the world and not setting our minds on godly, heavenly things like we're supposed to. Spend too much time chasing after earthly things that we miss sometimes what God has for us.
Correct.
And the bridge, if you came like fire, would I believe that it's you? If you came like wind, would I still know you in this room? You are Alpha, and somehow you're still Omega. I want your fullness and not just my preference.
This girl's deep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been meaning
She's
to check out
deep.
more of her songs. This is the only song I've heard so far from her. I've been meaning to check out more of her music because this song it might be one of the best Christian.
I don't know how old she is, but she's deep for her age.
Yeah, it's a fantastic note. It's good to be introspective to an extent, though. I would say this is the one thing: introspection is necessary.
Definitely.
One of the things that we need to be careful of is we don't spend so much time focusing on ourselves that we don't focus out on God. And
yes.
I think she's striking a good balance.
Yep.
But it's something that we always need to be alert to.
Amen.
Yeah.
But it's a very good song.
Yep.
Definitely. And then the outro here. Right now, will you walk in this room? I'll recognize you and want you to stay. I won't reason you away. Don't just come how I want you. Come how you are. Don't just come how I'm used to you. Come how you are.
Good stuff.
Wow.
See, I think that's a great inversion of the modern idea. Come just as you are to worship. It's like, wait a minute. Is worship about you?
I mean, yes, in a sense. Like come as you are. Not that worship is about you, but in a sense, yes, come as you are. That's what I mean.
And when she's saying "come as you are," she's saying to God, "It's like,
Yeah.
drop it on me, God. Let your holy
Let
the weight."
the fullness hit me.
I like
Yes.
Paul, was it Paul Wilbur who said, had that song, "Let the weight of your glory fall." Let the weight.
Strong words.
And it's taken from the biblical perspective, but just a great orchestral set. Let the weight of your glory fall on me.
She has a depth in
like
that particular song that, and maybe some of our listeners would appreciate this. I don't know how many of you out there do a daily devotional, but I like to do one, and I like to use My Utmost for His Highest, Oswald Chambers. And he is incredibly deep to the point that sometimes you have to read his devotionals 3, 4, 5 times to really soak in what he's trying to get at. It is just a tremendous man of God. And she's got that kind of tone in her words, in her music. Good stuff.
Indeed,
Definitely. Yeah.
indeed.
If you have not heard this song, go listen to it, and it sounds beautiful as well. Does it, John? Does
It's
it not,
a
John Matthew?
fantastic song. Well written. Definitely would not call this a congregational song.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is,
no.
This is a
It's a personal song,
popping down the road. You want to put something on a little bit more,
Yep.
more serious, a little bit more sobering.
Conviction.
but it's a kind of song when you are popping down the road, that's the kind of song you want to be listening to as opposed to in fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Singing Wind says, does this guy, Ryan, play the piano? I'm like, no, he plays guitar and bass.
I play the guitar and bass.
And
yes.
Singing Wind says he's a piano player, just doesn't know it yet. Look at those
Maybe
fingers.
one day. Maybe one day.
I said, we've been trying to get you to learn.
There's a lot of instruments I want to learn eventually if I have time. Drums, piano, banjo, mandolin.
See, I think you'd do banjo would be an interesting one for you.
Mandolin would be all around pretty good, but I think you should learn some theory in piano.
Yeah,
need to go
that'd be
back to theory.
That's helpful
Yeah.
for any musician. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well worthwhile. So, and just to note to Dearman, he's like, why do you always say peace be upon him? I'm like, I always say, so just for the record, in case anyone is not on PSB's chat and they have the question, why do I always say peace be upon Muhammad? The man slept with his wife. He waited to sleep with her. And from, he married her at 6. He waited for 3 years. Peace be upon him. It's always said tongue in cheek after he's done something quite terrible, if you notice. But just for clarity's sake, if you can't tell, this sense of humor here might be a little bit dry. But
At least he waited.
At least he waited 3 whole years until she was 9.
Man.
Those hips hadn't even opened up yet.
Yeah.
But he waited at least until they were a little bit bigger.
A little bit.
Pre-pubescent still, but he kind of waited.
Kind of.
Peace be upon him. Anyway,
be upon him.
perhaps I should say police be upon him.
Police be up.
Police be upon him. So the prophet, police be upon him. And so again,
That
Singing
would
Wind one
be
more
better.
time. It's like you better learn the piano first. You need to learn it before you learn all those others. So you've got your Asian mom here.
I don't know that they had police back then, did they?
I don't know. Yeah.
Probably not.
No, they did, but different sort.
Yeah.
So you've got people rooting for you to learn. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into these screw tape letters. We are finishing the epilogue today. Now, or not finishing it today. We are starting to finish it because we started last week, and this is very, 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 very long. But it
moving
is the
along
best
it.
part. Yep. Move it along in it. So give us the next cut, Mr. Producer. For those of you who are just joining us, Screw Tape Letters are a series of correspondence between Screw Tape and Wormwood. And thank you, Mr. Producer. At the end of this whole discourse between demons, in which Wormwood is about to be taken and salvaged for eating by the rest of the demons because he failed to do his job well, Screw Tape is giving an address to the New Tempters Academy. And there's a graduating class. In this segment, Lewis is kind of mocking an Ivy League college mindset, and he's kind of putting out this mockery and this satire on the collegiate class. And I find it to be quite brilliant. He also does a Babe Ruth, and he points for the fences, hits the ball, and he absolutely squarely nails where Western civilization goes in the segment. We're only going to get to cover a few pages here today for the sake of time, but I want to kind of pull us along. Last week, we talked a little bit about how the previous era, remember, Lewis is writing this in the 1940s, 1950s time frame, and he speaks about the previous era of evil was so much more prevalent. There was so much more evil. There were the Napoleons, even the Hitlers. But in this time, just post-World War II, you have all these men who are not quite evil, but they are just set enough in their ways to wind up in hell. And these demons are actually kind of sad because they love the taste of a Hitler. They love the taste of a Napoleon. They love the taste of a wife beater. But instead they have these men who are just a little bit lecherous in their heart and their mind, but they play by the Christian rules and sensibilities of their day. But in truth, they've never actually made a profession to Christ. They've never actually been changed. And so Lewis is kind of painting this picture and saying it is better to be hot or cold, good or in evil, rather than this lukewarm and unsure and not positive of where we are. And when I read this, I'm so thankful for our time that we live in. Women are no longer confused about abortion. They say, it's my right to kill my own child, even 2, 3, 4 years old. There's no confusion. Mm-hmm. You know who these people are. In the 1970s, it was a lot harder to tell who was whom. Now we can. Now it's clear. It's obvious. In Lewis's time, there was this sort of gray area that everyone existed in. And so, if Mr. Producer, if you would take us to cut number 33, please. Number 33. I will pick up there as we continue on in our read. So he then goes on to elucidate on this. These then are two welcome phenomena. First, the abundance of our captures, people who they've taken to hell. However tasteless our fare, we are in no danger of famine. And secondly, the triumph, the skill of our tempters has never stood higher. But the third moral, which I have not yet drawn, is the most important of all. The sorts of souls on whose despair and ruin we have, well, I won't say feasted, but at least subsisted tonight, are increasing in number and will continue to increase. Our advices from lower command assure us that this is so. Our directives warn us to orient all our tactics in view of this situation. The great sinners, those in whom vivid and genial passions have been pushed beyond the bounds, and in whom an immense concentration of will has been devoted to objects which the enemy abhors, will not disappear, but they will grow rarer. This is speaking to the Christianization of the West and how there's this lukewarm temperament where we are culturally Christian. And it's just as good, if not better, for the enemy of our souls that we are lukewarm, that we are good enough, but not truly good. Good enough in scare quotes. Continuing on, our catches will be ever more numerous, but they will consist increasingly of trash which we should have once thrown to Cerberus and the hounds as unfit for diabolical consumption. And there are two things I want you to understand about this. First, that however depressing it might seem, it is really a change for the better. And secondly, I would draw your attention to the means by which it has been brought about. It is a change for the better. The great and toothsome sinners are made out of the very same material as those horrible phenomenon, the great saints. The virtual disappearance of such material may mean insipid meals for us, but it is not utter frustration and famine for the enemy. Did he not create the humans? He did not create the humans. He did not become one of them and die amongst them by torture in order to produce candidates for limbo, failed humans. He wanted to make them saints, gods, things like himself. In the dullness of your present fare, or is the dullness of your present fare not a very small price to pay for the delicious knowledge that his whole great experiment is petering out? What Lewis is alluding to here, if you're not catching on, is this cultural mores, these doldrums, where we don't know who is truly good and who's truly saved and who is not. They are better for Satan than times of great suffering and great turmoil. Because ultimately, these people who are lukewarm, they have no idea of the doom that is to come. It is better to know your eternal state. It is better to know where you're going. It is better to be clear on whom you serve and be going there clearly and cleanly rather than be confused. And right now, I think we live in a slightly different time than Lewis. Lewis is predicting. He's going to predict where we're going. But I really think this is a good time to be alive. I'm really thankful for it in all candor. Continue on, Mr. Producer, if you would. But not only that, as the great sinners grow fewer and the majority lose all individuality, the greater sinners become far more effective agents for us. Every dictator or even demagogue, almost every film star or rock star, can now draw tens of thousands of human sheep with him. They give themselves, what there is of them, to him, in him, to us. There may come a time when we shall have no need to bother about individual temptation at all, except for the few. Catch the bellwether, and his whole flock comes after him. But do you realize how we have succeeded in reducing so many of the human race to the level of ciphers? This has not come about by accident. It has been our answer to a magnificent answer it is to one of the most serious challenges we've ever had to face. I think of social media when I think of this. One Kim Kardashian can raise up a generation of vapid, just shallow people who are hollow. One Beatles, okay, this group of 4 people can convince many people to imagine that there is no heaven. Think about how much damage one person can do if everyone else is able to just simply follow along. And we live in a culture where we have everything given to us. And we are so blessed in the West, specifically. We are so blessed. We are able to have food and shelter. Even if we don't work, it's given to us. So without anything to struggle for, without anything to call out to God for, what often happens? We end up pursuing hedonism. And I think that Lewis brilliantly and eloquently lays this out here. Next cut. Let me recall to your minds what the human situation was in the latter half of the 19th century, the period at which I ceased to be a practicing tempter and was rewarded with an administrative post. The great movement towards liberty and equality among men had by then borne solid fruits and grown mature. Slavery had been abolished. The American War of Independence had been won. The French Revolution had succeeded. In that moment, there had originally been many elements which were in our favor. Much atheism and anti-clericalism, much envy and thirst for revenge, and even some rather absurd attempts to revive paganism were mixed in it. It was not easy to determine what our attitude should be. On the one hand, it was a bitter blow to us, it still is, that any sort of men who had been hungry should be fed, or any who had long worn chairs should have them struck off. Chains should have them struck off. But On the other hand, there was in the movement so much rejection of faith, so much materialism, secularism, and hatred that we felt we were bound to encourage it. Think about the Enlightenment from this perspective. If man derives his value from soil, blood, and flag, where does God fit into that? And that is something that a lot of, some of the Burkean side of the Enlightenment, whereas you have the John Locke side that was more from the ration and reason, which ultimately came from God, is what gave man his inherent value. I'm oversimplifying by a good margin. That divide really started the liberty of America. In Britain and in America, it started that wing of liberty, the Lockean. Burke had some elements here. But Burke's side really was quoted by the French in the French Revolution, which devolved into the horrors of the French Revolution, the horrors of socialism, fascism, and communism, Marxism. The Enlightenment was definitely a mixed bag. And that's something that I think we need to be really clearly aware of, is that anything that goes as far as building a worldview without God, we should be concerned towards. We should take it with a certain amount of caution and see whether or not we bring that into the church. That is something that I think a lot of people need to be aware of. Where does the thing come from, and what is it intended to do? Continue on, Mr. Producer. Let me recall to your minds what the human situation. Oh, sorry, I'm actually off there. There we go. By the latter part of the century, the situation was much simpler and also much more ominous. In the English sector, where I saw the most of my frontline service, a horrible thing had happened. The enemy, with his usual sleight of hand, had largely appropriated this progressive and liberalizing movement and perverted it to his own ends. Very little of its old anti-Christianity remained. The dangerous phenomenon called Christian socialism was rampant. Factory owners of the good old type, which grew rich on the sweat of labor, instead of being assassinated by their workpeople, we could have used that, were being frowned upon by their own class. The rich were increasingly giving up their powers, not in the face of revolution and compulsion, but in obedience to their consciousness. And really, you saw this in the Protestant work ethic. You saw this in America, and you saw it then modeled out. It had to be modeled out across. Mm-hmm. And it was largely due to the Christianization, specifically the Protestant work ethic and some of the Protestant ideas that were carried out. Nothing against the Catholics, but there's something unique that happened in America that had not happened in Europe. And it was catalyzed by the puritanical movement, and it really kicked off there. So God can take anything that is secular and ultimately make it good. My question is for you today. Are you taken and beholden to ideas that really don't originate in Christianity, but originate in the secular world? Do you really know why you do what you do? I'd love to go further in this, but we are going to run out of time. What I would like to do is take a little bit further, because Lewis then tracks the whole idea of democracy. And I want you to tune in next week, because I think you will enjoy it. He tracks the whole idea of democracy being used as this nebulous phrase that ultimately captures the mind and harnesses selfish ambition in the name of being democratic. And I think it's very, very telling where he predicted versus where our nation has gone here in America specifically, and where you really see it in Europe, and how Europe's fallen. I think Lewis really predicted this well. So with that said, I want to go to final thoughts, because I want to give you some time.
Well, there's so much here that we've been through today. I think
Charlie, I don't know how you unplugged yourself, but you definitely unplugged yourself.
Sorry.
Yep.
I just want to say that the one thing I really took to was the song review. I thought that was really good. And also,
You're welcome.
Absolutely, thank you. But it's disturbing to me that America is not waking up to the issue of voting integrity. That it bothers me. And there's a lot of Democrat socialists that are winning primaries right now. Will they win actual offices? Don't know. That remains to be seen. But I will say this. I believe the Democratic Party as a whole is in a huge conundrum at the moment.
Well, they have to fully embrace socialism.
They're going to have to if they want any party to be left at all. And I don't know what that bodes for America.
I think,
So-
I think it's a net negative.
You'd like to think so.
Because unfortunately, I think they're getting crazier, and unfortunately, there's a lot of kids who are
They
picking
are
up
absolutely getting crazier.
on the propaganda.
Yep. So those are the two things that really stood out to me today.
Steve,
Yeah, I think the voter integrity is really becoming a problem, especially with all of the, let's say, like the mail-in ballots and, with the Save America Act and how many people in America really want this to go through? And then you've got, so many people in Congress that this small amount of people that are keeping it down, but you got so many in America that want it.
it's an 80-20 issue, at least,
Yes.
if not
Yeah.
even higher.
But it's the Senate that's really
Correct.
this is why
And you got
I
so
think
many
Thune needs to
people in
go.
America that want it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thune is unfortunately a very, very bad.
And I really
It's ridiculous.
I thought Thune, when he was selected to be Speaker of the Senate, I thought that was a bad move. And this is evidence of more. I don't think that Thune is trying to be a bad person overall. But
Impotent.
yes. And this is why those that have been in office a long time need to go.
I agree.
They just need to go.
Well, it's kind of scary to me that we have people like that who are still in. And
Yep.
I look, Trump's not perfect, but I look at Marco Rubio and I look at JD Vance and I look at those two and I say, man, are they even going to be able to do half of what Trump's doing?
That's a
And
scary
there's-
thought.
And they're the closest thing
Yeah.
on the stage.
You're
Because
right.
The Thunes, the McConnells, we probably are not going to have McConnell with us much longer.
Don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
Allegedly,
think so.
his wife went back to China during his illness spell, which is, again, a whole different set of questions there that ought to be asked as to how anyway, the majority leader is married to a Chinese operative. That should be asked.
Yeah.
But it's kind of scary. Mr. Producer, final thoughts.
I really enjoyed the song review for today just because, like I said, it's a very convicting song for me because I have this nasty habit of getting caught into kind of fantasizing about maybe what my life will look like one day and what God's going to do in it. And I heard this song, it completely broke that. And it's it's okay to make our plans, I think, but we need to be open to having God come in and be
Yes.
this is what I'm going to do. We need to be okay with having our plans overwritten by God and what He wants.
I thought he was going to say the apologetics segment.
I know, I
Logs go to
didn't know
heaven.
that.
I thought
Let's
he
go to
was
him.
going to talk about and say something about
Steve Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The whole show was
Come
good
on.
today.
He
but
talked
the
about
song was the
himself.
And he
favorite
talked
part.
about himself.
He talked about himself.
Wow.
I love it. I love it.
He's
I
going
love
to pull
it.
the plug and walk away.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
He'll
out
take
of
his
here.
ball and go
I'll
home.
teach you guys. I control the buttons here.
Oh my gosh. So what I would say is this. Oh man, you really did it. Okay. Well,
Sorry. So I saw an opportunity.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So what I would say is this: make sure you know what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Amen.
Make sure that you understand that the demons and devils of hell do actually know what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
We vote for a reason, and we vote specifically because we are trying to accomplish, in truth, God's will. That was the purpose of giving people a vote. And originally it wasn't all people. Not everyone voted. This whole idea that everyone voted is a new, or should vote, is a new thing. It should have been people who were contributing to society and ultimately could be drafted. But that's a different topic for a different day. What I would say is we are still, though, voting for righteous representatives who are going to uphold God's law. If someone, especially another nation, is allowed to intervene, actors within our own government are allowed to intervene, that should concern us. That should concern us. And that voting
Agreed.
has a purpose. It really is to implement godly policy through a set of checks and balances. And if that checks and balances system is not in place, then what are we doing? Like we really aren't accomplishing anything. So pray for America. Pray that the SAVE Act does get passed. Pray for wisdom for people like Thune, change of heart, lobotomy, whatever's necessary, so that they can go ahead and actually get this taken care of during a term where it's actually going to do some good. We do need to start requiring actual knowledge of who is voting in our elections. So pray for our nation. Pray for revival in your own heart. With that, we got nothing else for you. You have a beautiful day.